Hi. It's so great to be here today. When thinking about how to start the presentation today, Jean and I discussed about how our story isn't perhaps just about leveraging technology, but perhaps about leveraging people and the profound impact that comes when you have technology meeting local ingenuity in the heart of Congo. In a time where you have technology and nature that seem at odds, we've found an unexpected synergy. The key to driving sustainable development and conservation in Virunga has not just been cutting edge technology, though a lot of us I think like to play with our toys, but empowering local teams to build systems that go beyond what most traditional ERP systems can do. So I'm here with Jean and the rest of the team in the room, and we are so excited to share our story with you today. Most of you have perhaps never heard of Virunga, let alone know where it is. Virunga is located in eastern DRC, and it borders Rwanda and Uganda. This puts it really as the backbone of the Congo Basin, which is the largest carbon sink in the world. This also is perhaps why it was registered as the first national park in the world, in Africa in 1925. Its beauty is unparalleled, and I'm going to try and be as objective as I can be, but I think it's the most incredible area on this planet. From the mountains of the moon, the Rwenzoris, which are my favorite part of the park, to the large lakes, Lake Edward, Lake Kivu, its savannas, its dense jungles, and of course, its lava lakes. This all means in 1979 it was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. There's not a lot of places like this in the world that are just so extraordinary that they are important to the whole of humanity, and it creates benefits for us all here in this room today. Now, my favorite slide, its residents. So the Virunga National Park is the only park in the world that is home to three great ape species. You have the mountain gorillas, lowland gorillas, and chimpanzees. Also 44 endangered species that we know of call Virunga their homes. But just beyond the park's borders lies a story of resilience, one shaped by immense human challenges. When you factor in that over 11 million people live just one day's walk away from the park, it becomes clear that the future of conservation here is inseparable from the future of the communities that depend on the park. It's not enough to protect the park. We must also provide pathways for sustainable livelihoods around it. This became tragically evident in 2007 when the Senkekwe gorilla family was massacred. This led us to increase collaboration with international organizations, and most importantly, made us change a mindset into renewed focus on conservation through community engagement. And this really bottled up together in 2015 when Virunga launched the Virunga Alliance, a major initiative aimed at boosting regional development through sustainable energy, tourism, and agriculture. And these three development pillars are what bring us to Odoo today. It's the need to develop this economic model that ensures that all the local communities get a fair deal in the preservation of that national park. Our job is to make the national park economically useful, but also successful for local communities. And this brings us to this year, 2024 with our implementation of Odoo. After a lot of hard years and failed attempts at other systems that we'll talk about later, we settled with Odoo in January, and it's been, I was going to say a smooth ride, it's been a ride since. It's been a very complicated but very interesting journey. So, why was it complicated? A little summary of our needs. And this is a summary. There's a lot more that we need as a national park. To name a few, there's donor compliance, auditing, having an offline app, that's a big one we're trying to work on for the moment. Traceability, we talked a lot about that this week, I think in other talks. And having an e-learning system. So how was this handled before? Yeah, it wasn't so great. A lot of it was done on paper, a lot of it didn't actually exist, or wasn't done before, or was on systems that never communicated with each other. There's no history keeping. When you were doing a purchase on one system, it had to be sent out with a bus to another location by paper. A real mess. So what are we doing to make this better? Yeah, that seems a lot better to work everything through Odoo. So I don't want to go through this a lot. You know, it's Friday. We've gone through a whole week of this, but why are we moving to Odoo? So full integration. That's very important. Cost efficiency, ease of learning. We'll talk about that later. Scalability, configurability, also very important to our use cases. Transferability. We'll also talk about that at the end. And my colleague here, Wannes, really wanted me to talk about resiliency and how important it is in the context of Virunga to work through Odoo SH. So where do we stand in our implementation today? All the circles here in green are what we've already implemented, and in red what we're planning to do next year. And there's actually a lot more. Again, this is just a summary. Quickly, a quick figure to explain what we've actually achieved this year. 5,000 hours. That's 5,000 hours saved in bureaucratic processes this year. And honestly, this is a really a small number compared to what I think it actually is. It's a very quick calculation. And the image you see there in the background, that's not just an image that I took from Google, an AI generation system. That's actually our accounting office. That's how the accounting was done last year on paper. Because our systems that we were running were just unable to stock all this out. So we had to print everything and do our audits, which meant that when we had auditors coming over, we had to send somebody across front lines in a war zone to go get the papers, take them on a motorbike, hold them in their hands, and bring them to the auditors. And this happened around 6 times a year. So moving to Odoo and digitalization is really a big step in what we're doing. And now I'd like to introduce Jean, who's going to talk to us about how we achieve this.
Thank you. As it has been, as it comes to be mentioned by Robin, all apps and the functionalities are made fully in Democratic Republic of Congo with a dedicated team. And to achieve this team is getting on-the-job training. Is getting on-job training thanks to the partner, technical functional training, and PLO bootcamp. At the end of training, all team members are getting all tools, all required information, and the chance to pass their Odoo certifications. Our team consists of 9 developers currently and 4 analysts, all based around or in the park. Among our achievements, I'm going to introduce one of the modules developed by trainees after 4 months of functional and training, technical trainings. The module is called incident reporting, which is in the field of ranger, is working like a ticketing system. This module has been introduced. Why? Because in the park we are facing many illegal activities in the north, in the south, east, or around or in the park, and those information the management was formerly unable to control, to manage those information. According to this module, all those information are now centralized, and this module is now allowing the management quicker reaction, better follow-up and the recidivism tracking, poaching and encroachment mitigation, improvement of communication between remote geographic areas, and analytics data for data-driven decision. This is how this module, built by trainees after 4 months of intensive trainings. Again, thanks for technical and PLO boot camps. That's all about this module, and I think it's all about me.
Thanks, Jean.
Yeah.
That's been a real revolution for us. You know, as you said, 4 months, and this team was able to build a completely new module. And so this brings us to, okay, if we can achieve this in 4 months, what are we going to do moving forward next year, and how is it going to look? Well, safe to say we have a lot of plans, and I think we will never run out of things that we want to do. So we're planning on having more and more of these trainee waves coming through these training systems that we're developing, to really build a core team in Congo, not only for developers but also proper analysts. So you're developing and analyzing on site using these open systems, and you can change them where they're going to be used with the people that are going to use them. So looking beyond the park, looking beyond Virunga, right? Where are we going to go? Well, you have to know that there's around 10,000, actually a lot more than 10,000 farms that are currently supported by Virunga's agricultural projects, and over 2,000 SMEs that are connected to the grid. And so what we want to do through our systems is to help them get also their own ERP. Like Fabien talked in the keynote, when was it, on Wednesday, we want to kind of replicate that. You can start your ERP with just a phone, right? And there's an internet connection in all the major cities. So having all these SMEs, all these farmers connected to the system, allowing them to get better microfinancing solutions for them, is central to where we're going next. Also, what we want to start doing is leveraging and using our understanding that we built in the past year, but also not only in terms of the technical part of it, but also just the general idea of the Virunga model, and replicate that in other parks around the world. So we built all these very complicated systems. Why not share it with others around the world? And I think that's also core to what Odoo means. It's sharing what you're building. So I think to conclude, if we have to look at our key learning of the past year, is that really it's the role of open systems working with teams on the ground that will revolutionize the ERP space, but actually the whole technological space in Congo and in Africa. And that's what we wanted to share with you today, is that real understanding I think we knew about it, but we didn't understand the extent to which it was very important. And so it's only by embracing that innovative technology that we will preserve our natural world, not only in Congo, but everywhere, and empower all the communities around it, and pave the way for sustainable global change. I think you're going to see not only Odoo, but other open systems really flourish within Virunga, within Kivu, and within Africa in general, because this is the system that is made for Africa. And Virunga is just the beginning. So thank you so much for having listened to us. Now, small presentation. Here's a QR code. If you have any questions you'd like to ask us, we'd be really happy to answer.
Thank you very much to both of you for this inspiring talk. I think we all travel with you today. So I have 3 questions for you. How were you able to build a team like this in under a year?
Jean, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, to build this team, this great team we currently have, we followed intensive trainings, and which was subdivided as follow: 1 week for getting more information about the company, 2 weeks dedicated to Odoo functional training, and up to 3 weeks dedicated to technical trainings. And after those weeks, then the trainees have to start working on specific module. And as you can see, this is in only 4 months. Yeah. So after this, the management has to take a decision after evaluating everyone, who stays, who leaves. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
During the talk, you mentioned traceability. How are you putting this in place?
Yeah. So I think traceability is on the, people talking about it all over this area this week. I think so. What we're doing is using the core functions of Odoo, and we're really excited to move to Odoo 18 to use the new functions that you have on traceability, which some of them we already started working on. So it was interesting to see, during the keynotes we were saying, oh, we already built that, so we'll see how the code is different. So we're building traceability through our, starting with our cacao. So we're working with the farmers to have them recorded in a GIS system that will be linked to Odoo, and then going through manufacturing, inventory, and then sales. Since we are able to look at the whole supply chain, this gives us an advantage to properly understanding traceability and have a proper traceability system, not a greenwashed traceability system.
Okay, yeah, thank you. It was mentioned today during the keynote, but do you see a role of AI in your system?
For the moment we're not using AI to the full benefit of what it could be. There's definitely a lot we could do with reporting. I think what we're doing now, it's a very fun project, is working with animal counting. So we fly a plane over a certain area, taking very high resolution pictures in diagonal, and then using AI models to count automatically all the animals and where they are, giving us an understanding of, for instance, invasive species or conflict on the patterns of animal movement.
Nice, interesting. I have another question here. Do you plan on adding cryptocurrencies as an open economic system to regenerate local economies?
So there is already projects with cryptocurrency. I'm perhaps not the person to talk about them. I don't know so much about our project there. But we definitely leverage our hydroelectric systems for cryptocurrency. But I think you can read more about it. There's been a lot of articles about what we do, but I'm not so knowledgeable on that topic.
Yeah, okay, thanks, perfect. And I have another question here. What was the biggest challenge when implementing Odoo for you?
Jean, I'll let you answer that one.
Yeah, what I can say about that question is in 2023 we didn't have many more information, many more trainings about Odoo. So when we heard about Odoo, we started to learn, we started building the new team. Okay, so the big challenge was to get the best developer, which is adapted to, who will be able to go with us and fulfill the company's ideas.
Yeah.
The right people at the right place then.
Yeah. If I can add to that, just to give a bit of context on our migration of Odoo into Odoo, is when we decided to move from our previous systems into Odoo, we decided to move almost everything we had. That means accounting, our approval system for purchases, our purchasing systems, our inventory systems, well, you name it, all the basic models, we moved at once. And we decided to do that mid-October, and our deadline was 1st of January for about an organization the size of about 2,000 employees. So yeah, it was a challenge, but thanks to one of our partners in Lubumbashi at the time, now we're partners, but we weren't at the time, ETC, we got it properly done.
Nice, yeah, it was a short time, but great. And I have another question here, and yeah, about Odoo, how did you come across Odoo? Do you have a small story about that?
How did we come across Odoo? It was a little bit by luck, I think. We were going through different systems. There's no, you saw it on the screen, we were on Sage before. I think it's safe to say we were a little bit unhappy about that. And so we weren't going for the same system. We were also considering SAP. That was extremely expensive, extremely heavy to do. Never we could have done that in a couple of months. And then I think I had a friend from university that was working for Odoo in Nairobi, and so just said, hey, would you have time for a call? And we had a call, and I think in 1 week we were convinced, the management was convinced, the team was convinced, so it was just full, okay, let's go, let's try it.
Yeah, perfect, thank you. I see a question here, but I think you already answered that. How long have you been using Odoo now? So from January,
yeah,
right?
so from January, yeah.
Perfect. I have a question, why Odoo? Very generic question.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. I think for us, we don't necessarily have the same, every partner has a different answer, every client has a different answer. For us, it's definitely configurability. That's big, right? It's the fact that we make it our own system. When in the previous question, when you asked what systems we were considering, we were a little bit considering making our own system, because I mean, when you look at the ticketing system for rangers, when you look at our IoT systems that we're going to be putting in place for the fence detections, I mean, you name it, there's no system that makes all of this. So that's why we were considering making our own system. But what Odoo allows us to do is to have the backbone there, but then be able to construct our own systems still on top of it. And that's why Odoo.
Yeah, okay, perfect, thank you. I see a question coming here. Are all the users using the system? I suppose the users, maybe the employees?
So no, we don't have yet, the entire organization using it. But we're going in that direction. So we talked about the ticketing system that's getting rangers onto the system. We talked, about traceability that's getting our sister companies into the system. So Virunga Chocolate, Virunga Origins onto the system. We just migrated Virunga Energies this week, which was a little bit hectic during this during this week, having our senior developer and our PO stuck in Belgium was a little bit hectic. But yeah, so we got Virunga Energies online now, and yeah, so getting more and more of the users onto it.
Nice, perfect. And I see here just one affirmation. Congratulations, guys! Your presentation was awesome.
Cool.
So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
And see you soon.
Thanks.
Thank you.